Well, here she is, waiting patiently through the comic book segment and through your tweeting nightmares. We're going to go live and welcome our new good friend. Let's see if I get this right. Krissi. Say the last name for me, Krissi.
Biasiello.
Biasiello to Totally Driven Radio. It's her. Wait, before we go any further, okay, we're going to get this straight up front before we can even proceed to any introductions or anything. Is it gravy or sauce?
It's gravy.
All right. You're in. You're
sauce?
in.
Only wrong people say sauce. Maragani say sauce.
She's in. She's with us, Frank.
I love that only wrong people. That's awesome.
Well, yeah, because who can make a good Sunday gravy if you don't call it gravy? It means it's wrong. You're wrong.
That's right. She's our girl, Frank. She's our girl. Wait, how about this? Let's see. Do you know what the secret ingredient is in the gravy? Let's see if she knows the secret ingredient in my grandmother's gravy.
Yo. I know what my grandmother's secret ingredient is, and if you think I'm telling you, you're crazy.
Oh, come on. I'll tell you what my grandmother's secret ingredient is.
Go ahead.
It's the grease after you get done frying the meatballs and the sausage.
Oh,
you pour it into grease.
Not really. See, I'm intelligible about my gravy, so it's not really a secret to me. I thought you were going to tell me there was some crazy, like a carrot in it or something.
Oh, no.
Whoa, let's not get blasphemous here.
Come on now. Well,
vegetables
Krissi,
that don't go in the
Totally
gravy, and that's all of them.
So, Krissi, you're like taking the world by storm now. You're on that.
Apparently. Look at that. Who knew?
Look at that.
All the way from my little corner of 21st and Snyder, way back when.
How about that? Wow, 21st and Snyder. You know, the loft used to be, no, that's 20th in Oregon. 21st and Snyder.
Yeah.
I used to work at 15th and Snyder.
Oh, yeah? At
the Philadelphia Music Company.
Yeah, we, let me think what was around it. Well, I mean, Nick's Roast Beef is on 20th and Jackson. I mean, I was kind of in my neighborhood. I was on Emily Street. And, okay. Let me think. The Fiesta, remember the Fiesta burned down? I don't know if you remember that. That was right on 20th and Snyder. That's a bunch of family parties were there. That's the whole neighborhood's changed, now. I haven't been down there in about 5 years. Last time I went down there, somebody spray painted meat on my old house.
Alrighty. Wow. All right, so and now you're a Delco girl, and we're actually Delco guys. It's funny. There's like a whole connection here.
Oh, well, I did go to Edinburgh. My mom lived in Prospect Park, so I kind of bounced back and forth, and I did go to Edinburgh. I'm an Edinburgh grad.
Where'd you go, Frank?
Academy Park.
Oh.
Oh.
Are you proud of that? When people go, hey, represent your high school. No. They will pay me to represent them.
Well, I mean, at least you're not from Ridley. It's all right.
Ridley was the enemy of everyone.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they still are. My son goes to Norwood now, and they pretty much hate Ridley still. Glad to see it hasn't died.
It's like Ridley and the rest of Delaware County.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well,
so let's get into this whole phenom with the whole MasterChef thing. Like, how did this all start and come about?
Well, I mean, I'm a huge fan of any cooking show, any competition show, and I have like a ridiculous crush on Gordon Ramsay, but I'm not going to get into that. We got to keep this PG. Anyway, so, after the first season, all my friends, they're breaking my chops, and then, you got to try it out. Get the hell out of here. I said, I'm not doing that. You're crazy. I said, they America ain't ready for me. And, I'm busy. I'm a single mom. I can't put my life on hold. So finally, last year, Christine Howe won the blind cook. She was awesome. My son was a huge fan of her, and he was like, Ma, come on. if a blind girl can win, you can win. And he said, please try out. So me and my best friend, we loaded up the car one day in November, and we drove up to New York City, and yesterday I got an apron.
Wow.
Now, what dish did you use to actually get to the next round? What was the first dish you prepared?
The meatloaf Florentine. They loved it. They loved it so much that when they called me to L.A., they were like, you have to make that. And I was like, wow, if you're telling me I have to make it, then it's got to be good. Of course I'm going to make it. I got to twist my arm.
So when you did the tryout,
did you try out? Because we were talking about this earlier, that I watch a lot of the Gordon Ramsay shows, and one of my pet peeves is when he's trying to give somebody advice or tell them what's good, and they just want to go against them and show them that, well, I know better. It's like, how do you know better than Gordon? And the fact that you went with what brought you to the dance, and the fact that it was a meatloaf, I was popping huge for that, because I'm a big fan of meatloaf, and I've said for years that anyone who can bring a dish that everyone knows and loves and then amp it up, that's the person that's going to get noticed, because anyone can like make something and then like, you know, maybe throw some different ingredients in there and make it weird. But when you're taking something that everybody knows and loves and making it that much better, it's to me that's a cook. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, it's a funny story how the meatloaf even got invented. To be honest with you, my friend Nick. He's like the size of a water buffalo. God love him. I love him to death. But all he does is eat. Well, his wife went away on vacation, and he couldn't go. He had to get stuck. He was stuck working. So the kids and everybody went on vacation. I felt bad. He posted on Facebook. He said, oh, my God, who's going to feed me? Karen went away. And I said, I'll feed you. I said, come over. And he said, what are you making? I said, I don't know. What do you like? He said, I like chicken Florentine. Can you make that? Of course I can make that, I said. So my son, he's kicking and stomping, I want meatloaf. I said, listen, how can I make these two, you know, larger-than-life man, boy, and boy happy? I said, I'm going to make meatloaf Florentine. I'm going to stuff it. That's crazy. I'm just doing it. And I just made it up. Well, he, like, came and picked up the container. He went home. He called me, like, literally within 5 minutes, and he was like it's gone. Do you have any more? I'm coming back around the corner for more. I got to have more. I was like, are you kidding me? I gave you like a half a meatloaf. And that's how it got invented. And everybody was just like, oh, my God, make your cheese sauce. Make the meatloaf, please. And that's it. That's how it started.
Now, when you did the initial tryout, did you try out actually for them, or did they have, like, the TV guys there handling that for them?
No, they have, like, you know, you honestly don't know who's going to come, really. It could be local chefs in, like, New York. It could be food writers. I mean, they're definitely knowledgeable about food. I don't even know who the people were that tasted my dish because I'm not from New York. I don't know who they were. And
right.
But all I know is they were impressed with it, and that's all right with me.
Now, was that the first time you got to meet, like, them last night, like when they showed on TV, like when you coming through there? Is that the first time you met them?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was awesome, yeah, definitely.
That's got to be so intimidating.
I am a huge, and just, like, I am a huge fan of Joe's mom, Lydia. I mean, I've been watching her since I was a little girl. I have every one of her cookbooks. Like, she's, like, literally my culinary idol right there, Lydia Biasiello. And just to be in the presence of her son, knowing that they, you know, co-partner with these restaurants and everything, like, that was, like, my motivation, aside from my son and, you know, the general things that motivates people to do the competition. I wanted to, like, live up to their standards. Like, you know, most people are intimidated by Joe. I was driven by it. Like, I wanted him to be like, you're good. You're as good as my mom, you know, and hopefully that happens.
Do you have any formal training?
Now, what did you think initially when they were kind of like, meatloaf, really? Did that make you nervous at that point? Did you think, oh, maybe I didn't make the right choice? Or did you know you nailed it from get-go?
You know, I didn't know that I nailed it, but I knew no matter what happened, I wanted to go into this competition as me. I wanted to leave however I was leaving, whenever I was leaving, as me. Like Graham said, that's me on a plate, and I love that he picked that up from me. Like, you know, I'm not going to give you some pretentious over-the-top dish. Can I sous vide and can I do – sure I can. I can do anything. I'm a great cook. But that's not me. That's somebody else's interpretation of what I should be. I'm not doing that. I'm going to give you me whether you like it or not. And if you don't like it, you're lost, not mine, you know? So I went into it with the attitude that whatever happens, happens. I'm not losing me. I'm not losing myself. I'm not losing my roots, nothing. So
I'm glad to hear that because I've always said that I think Philly is underrated when it comes to the food category. You know, like you hear about New York, San Francisco. Hey, you can't beat Philly food. I don't care.
No.
You know, New York, it gets the press, but I've had pizza in New York. Meh. You know, sandwiches. Hey, come on, this is the home of the sandwiches. This is the home of good cooking. I don't care what anybody says. New York, Philadelphia doesn't have to take a second seat to anybody. And the fact that you are now representing us on a national scale makes me proud.
I know. You know what? Like, really, like, that was, like, another thing, like, when in my decision, when, you know, when they called me to say, hey, you're the top 100, come out to L.A., I waited until the last possible second. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to financially go, you know, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if how long you're going to stay in the competition. So you have to literally prepare for, like, you know, 3 months. You got to pay all your bills, and, you know, and I'm a single mom. I mean, I rob Peter to pay Paul every week, you know. So, but in the back of my head, I'm like, you know what? There has never been somebody from Philly, like the girl that won Hell's Kitchen last year. You know, she was from Philly, but she wasn't from Philly. She moved to Philly and she claimed Philly. I love her. I think she's cool, but you know, there's never been any, like, one of us, you know, representing, like this is Philly. And I got to tell you, they thought I was like a gangster when I went out there. They're like, oh, you're from Philly? Oh, man, what's that to get? I'm like, it's a really nice city. We got the Liberty Bell, dude. Like, you know, how do you hate a city that's got the Liberty Bell? Come on, Joe. You know, like, oh, my God, like, people really have a crappy opinion of us. Like, they think we're, like, gang-banging, traffic raging, throwing snowballs at Santa Claus. Like, they think we're nuts.
That's all they think about it. I mean, the Philly, I probably going back to the vet. I mean, the vet really left a bad mark, a bad look on the Philadelphia scene throughout the country. People do not look at us positively after the vet.
No. And you know what? Most people are like, oh, that's a disgrace. Not me. I'm like, yeah, we did it. So what?
Yeah.
You have something to say about it, cuz?
It's part of Philly. I mean, you know, it makes us unique. It makes us stand out in the crowd and throughout the country.
Yeah.
It kills me.
And I have to tell you, no matter where I went in L.A., like, first of all, the food sucked. Second of all, nobody knew my accent. They were like, where are you from? That's not New York accent. I'm like, I'm from Philly. And they're like, oh, say something again. They were fascinated by my accent. I thought it was crazy. And they were all trying to imitate me. I met a couple of the contestants, the top 100. They were from Minnesota. Like, they could not get over the fact that I say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They couldn't get a library. I say library instead of library. They loved it. They were hysterical. I'm like, you know, hey, this is like... Wait,
say that word again.
Library.
Thank you. I hope my wife heard that, because that's how you say it. And you go to the bathroom. You go to the bathroom. Come on. Every time I say that, yeah, she's got to point it out to me.
That's
too funny.
But yeah, like it was just really funny, their perception, and nobody really respected Philly as a food town. Like, I would have conversations. I'm like, yeah, you know, Jose Garces has a has a restaurant or two in Philly. I said, Morimoto has it. They're like, what? Really? Really? Oh, okay. You're supposed to be in the top 100. You don't even know where the chefs have their homes at? Oh, man, I got this.
It's funny, though. As soon as we saw you last night, I turned to my wife. I said, first off, I think I know her. She looks very familiar. Second off, you can't deny she's from South Philly.
That's a compliment to me.
Now, do you have like any formal training as a chef, or are you just all self-taught?
No. Nope. Ever since I was old enough to, stand on a stool and start a gravy with my grandmother. You know what I mean? Like, I've been in the kitchen. I mean, I was really fortunate to have insanely amazing cooks in my family. You know what I mean? Like, my grandfather, God rest his soul, he's not with us anymore, but he was the greatest cook I ever knew. Nobody. I've been to restaurants and, I've done the whole frou-frou thing, and I've tasted. Nobody could cook better than that man. Nobody. And he taught me everything he knew. And I don't even use recipes a lot of the time. It's, a little this, little that. Nah, it didn't come out today. Okay, we'll try a little bit more of this. So it's really hard, when I went into the audition, and you have to kind of submit your recipe before, you go to cook the dish and, to make sure that all the ingredients are available and things like that. And I had a really hard time writing down a recipe because I never had one. I just make it up. I just know. And that's not something that you can learn in a school. That's something you can only be taught with experience and watching your family do it and everything like that. So, nope, no formal training.
Wow. Now, the one thing I really liked last night is what you said is how you want to bring back good cooking to South Philly with the raviolis and the meatballs.
Yeah. You know what it is? I noticed, I'm 34, so I'm kind of like the last of this, generation that had it good while we had it good in South Philly. And, there were little luncheonettes on the corner when I was growing up. And, instead of stopping at the corner store and getting a bag of chips, we would stop at the corner, the corner luncheonette and pay $1 and get a cup of meatballs and eat them on the way home from school. And I noticed that, as the old people, that owned those places started to pass away and things like that or retire, their kids didn't really want to take on the place, so they sold the places, and now they're apartments, and now they're trying to, and there's, I feel like South Philly's losing its heart and soul, so I want to bring that back. Like, I want to have that place where the people in the neighborhood can go and be like, oh, my God, this is as good as sitting down at my mom's house for Sunday dinner. Like, that's what I want to do. Because that, to me, that's the heart of the city. Like, everybody knows everybody. You come in, like, when something bad happens, we're family no matter what. And I miss that. It's not like that anymore, and I want to bring it back. And what better way to bring it back than with good food, Food's the universal language. Everybody speaks it.
I used to work in South Philly in the 90s, and even from then until now is such a huge difference. Look, I had a friend who owned a store in South Philly and Southwest. I would love my days in South Philly, man, because I there was such good food. And then I worked for him a week or so ago, and I was just disappointed because I'm like, it's not the same.
Yeah. Because everybody wants to take shortcuts now. Because, like, another thing is, like, my mom never worked. She never worked. A lot of my friends' moms never worked. But now, like, moms aren't home anymore. So everybody's taking, shortcuts. And then you got basketball, you got soccer, you got this. The kids are involved in things we were never involved in. They didn't have all that.
Right.
And if they did, you had to be really good because you got cut from the team. Now everybody has to play.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not, everything's not the same. You go to a so-called quote-unquote Italian restaurant and they're serving you frozen raviolis. Why? It takes 5 minutes to roll out ravioli. Just 5 minutes. And it's just a disappointment. I think it's a slap in the face to the Italian Americans that built my neighborhood. I do.
I couldn't agree with you more. Now we're all depending on you. You see, all of us Italians are going to depend on you now.
true.
I mean, I hope I can do you guys justice. I mean, I'm a fighter. You can't tell me no and don't think I'm going to get back up swinging. And I'm going to ride this ride as long as I can.
Well, I was saying, man, we hope that ride is to the end, because that would be great, because you represent this area 150%, man, and it's just good to see a real person out there. And you again, I can't emphasize this. You're what a cook should be. you know that it's not about what you like. It's about if everyone else likes it. And that's the one thing I never got with some chefs is, well, my food's the best. You don't know good food. Well, apparently I do, because I like to eat. I'm a fat guy. You don't get this big by just looking at food.
I say that all the time. I say, look at all the practice I've had. And I rub my little rotund belly. Well, that's where it's at, man. I could care less. Everything, my father even says sometimes, he's like, hon, come on, just 20 pounds. He said, you'll feel better. Pop, I can't stop eating meatballs, Pop. I just can't. I'm sorry. I'd rather be fat and happy than skinny and miserable chewing on a celery stick. I can't do it. I just can't.
You know what? I've said that recently myself. Like, I fought with my weight all my life. And in the past, 6 months, I finally said, you know what? I'm tired of fighting. I want to eat. Let me eat. Keep the vegetables to yourself.
My whole outlook on this is, if God intended me to be skinny, he wouldn't have made me such a great cook. That's all.
There you go.
Because,
there you go.
I mean, like I said, I got to taste my food, and my food tastes so good, I just can't stop tasting it. That's the problem.
Hey, something you said a little bit ago, which was very important, which was a very important part of last night, was you said about family and bringing family back. Your son was part of the show last night. I mean, that was huge.
Yeah.
I mean,
I had no idea. I mean, that morning, I had said to the girl that I had been roomed with, who is a fabulous chick from Chicago, amazing. I mean, I've made some lifelong friends, and I was actually really upset. And it takes a lot for me to get a little emotional. My kid is my everything. And I was just really upset because, I couldn't afford to fly him out there. And then somebody would have to take off work to come with him. And,
right.
I was just really bummed. And she said to me, listen, Mikey knows how much you love him. Remember why you're here. Go out there and fight. And that's what I did. And then all of a sudden, here he comes, and I just broke down. I was so
awesome.
happy to see him. Yeah, it was great.
That was awesome. But how was his day of school today now? I'm sure he must have been the talk of the whole school.
Oh, my God. I came home, and he's like, Ma, we didn't do any work today. All my teachers let us watch the episode on YouTube today. He said his music teacher was crying. His math teacher texted all the other teachers when he saw them. And, because, we can't tell anybody anything about the show.
Right.
I mean, I would love to give you guys more information, but I can't, and he's kind of bound by the same no talk thing. So he was holding it in, and then when everybody recognized him, it was a real good surprise, or a real good feeling for him, to come into school today. And they were like, Mike, we saw you on TV. So it was good. He really had a good day today.
That's awesome. Now, is the whole show taped already? Is everything already taped and done, or do you have to keep going back?
Everything is already done, and that's all I can say.
Wow. Okay.
Hey, Babe. Now there's a new challenge. It's not the food challenge. It's keeping a girl from South Philly from talking. You're definitely right with that one. Once they said she's from Philly, they're like, I'll make her sign an extra waiver.
Listen, I don't think they knew what they were getting into when they brought me out there. I'm telling you.
I'm sure they didn't.
Well, they got to know real quick. I actually, I walked into the hotel. I had a sweatshirt on, and it was the Italian flag, and my sweatshirt says it's gravy, not sauce. Boom. There I am. I was like, hi, guys. They were like, oh, boy.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, I
wow.
let them know from Jump Street what they were getting.
Well, we're excited. This is great. I can't wait now. I can't wait till next week.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting, and you know, even though I know what happened, I myself haven't seen the show, so I'm, you know, really watching the show for the first time as well.
Yeah, like you were the main event last night. Like they saved you to last.
I know, and all my friends, they were joking with me. They were like, "Oh, you were good, but Mikey was better." They told me apparently my son stole the show, and you know what? That's all right with me.
He did though. I mean, that just made it. I mean, it really just made your whole character even more likable, and you know, you had the whole mother thing going for you, and your whole attitude is just, you know, it's just great. I mean, you had the charisma and everything, and they should give you a spin-off reality show after this. You never know. Crazier things have happened in the TV world.
You know, my friends have been telling me that for years. We'll see what happens.
I can see it now, Bay. Real Chefs of Philadelphia.
Oh, God.
You're right.
God help us. There'll be a lot of cooking and cursing in those kitchens.
That's the way it's supposed to be, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was definitely an experience, though. I wouldn't change anything for the world. Stressful, nerve-wracking, very emotional, but I can never trade it. It's been an awesome ride, and I can't wait to you guys see what it's like.
Awesome. We can't wait either. So you going to call in next week and keep us updated?
Absolutely. I'll call in whenever you want. It's great. I had a lot of fun.
Well, you got to call in every week and keep us updated. You'd be like our little,
absolutely.
The totally driven master chef. And eventually, we want ravioli and meatballs out of this.
So nicely, you know, I have to oblige.
And you got to, you know, the final part is, too, we want ravioli and meatballs out of this at some point.
Oh, wait. I can do that.
All right. See that, Frank?
And I won't even charge you.
I'm on me a hop, skip, and a jump over in Glen Olden, Krissi, so.
Oh, God. I hope you don't find out where I live. Will you be sitting outside my door like a lapdog? I mean, Jesus.
I'm actually outside sniffing the air right now. I'll track it.
Oh, yeah, so you smell my chicken cutlets traveling down Chester Pike?
You never know.
He's not too far away, Krissi. He's not too far away.
Oh, boy.
They'll tell you, I pulled off bigger miracles. I have a palate and a nose like no other.
Wow. Maybe
well,
you
I enjoy my food.
You're saying Chester Pike. I'm gonna throw this out there. I'll give them a plug. My good friends over at Studio One. Are you familiar with that place, Studio One Tattoo?
Everybody I know that's from this area that has a tattoo has gone to that place to get their tattoos.
There you go.
I mean, it's like, you know, everybody knows that place. It's like it's been around forever. Christ, I can't think of it not being there.
One of my lifelong friends is a tattoo artist.
You got to help me out with an argument too.
Okay.
Philadelphia, home of the cheesesteaks. Where's your preference? Is it Delaware County or Philly?
All right, well, I have to tell you, I'm a little biased because I'm very good friends with the Oliveri family. So I got to say Pat's. Got to.
Wow. You know, I was just going to ask Pat's or Gino's, but I guess that she just blew that out of the water, Pat's.
Yeah, no, I got to stay faithful to my friends, definitely. They're very good friends of mine, and I love them to death. Great family. And, you know, definitely Pat's. Go to Pat's.
Does Tony Luke's come into play at all?
You know, I've had Tony Luke's. You know, I think he's a lot of huff, no puff. You know, to be honest with you, I mean, aside from that style of cheesesteak, you know, the touristy style of cheesesteaks, Falone's. It's always been Falone's in Southwest, which I actually just found out that they're on, because I literally just relocated back to Delco in December. So, and, you know, and then I was gone. So I just found out that the Falone's is in Glen Olden on Chester Pike. So I'm excited.
You have just impressed me to no end. I'm a Southwest Philly boy, and everybody knows.
Yeah, well,
Falloon.
when we moved out of South Philly, we moved to 66 and Dix. So I'm pretty. I lived there from '94 to 2000. So.
Oh, Finnegan's Playground. I was there all the time, swimming in that dirty pool.
I was causing trouble.
I'm not surprised.
I'm worried about the fame now because I'm worried that all the girls I beat up growing up are going to try to want restitution. They think I'm rich now or something. Yeah, I was a little bruiser.
Well, you got two former wrestlers now to watch your back, so.
Oh, well, that's great.
and
I'm very excited.
Hey, and trust me, I'd kill for a good meatball, so.
You know, I was actually one of my very close friends now. He was a contestant, was also a wrestler, based out of New York. He lives in Staten Island. His name is Damien. And I got a crash course in that wrestling culture while I was there because it's all he ever talked about.
It's a whole nother world.
It really is, and I honestly, I met a couple of his friends, and I have never met a more, passionate group of people about anything. You guys really do love your wrestling.
It's an interesting bunch.
Well, I'm glad to be a part. Do you guys label yourselves as dysfunctional too? Because I'm even more proud to be a part of it every week now.
Believe me, my family is South Philly Italians. We put the dysfunction in dysfunctional.
Oh, well, your family's got to get together with my family, and the nuclear holocaust will probably go off.
Let me ask you this: does your family all talk, or do they just no? Is
my
it 1 week on, 1 week off?
My family doesn't know what talking is. It's more of a scream.
Yeah, see, explain that to my wife. My wife's listening. Tell my wife.
When you walk into a room, it's just, you can't even decipher one person's conversation because everybody is yelling over everybody. It just gets louder and louder and louder. And I'm usually the loudest out of them.
Hey, you want to laugh too? I just got a text message, a buddy of mine. Hey, and Frank, it's Darren. He said, she had me at chicken cutlet.
If only I could use my chicken cutlets as a marketing technique to get some dates. Maybe I wouldn't be a single mom no more.
Oh, you got Darren. He's the king of the barbecue. Now,
I love barbecue.
You think about it. We got the barbecue and the Italian food. Oh, could you imagine the mixtures that'll come out of that, Bay?
Hey, that's a new fusion cuisine. Maybe we can get some investors and open up a happening restaurant.
There you go. Let's do this.
You never know.
Italian barbecue. Italian on the inside, barbecue grills going outside. Beer in the middle.
You know, they actually do particularly Southern Italy. They really do. They actually love their barbecue grills down there. They actually barbecue meatballs, but they don't call them meatballs. They're polpettis.
Really?
Yeah. Anything about it. I mean, I study Italian cuisine. I love it. It's incredible, and I do learn a lot from Joe's mom, Lydia. So yeah, I love talking about Italy. I love talking. Hopefully, I'll be able to go there one day. It's my dream.
Now, for some reason, all I can think about is mesquite smoked meatballs.
No, that could be a new thing. Don't tell anybody. See, now you told everybody. They're going to steal our idea. Just what you want.
I'm copyrighted.
Don't you know that the whole thing of being a good cook is that you don't ever give your secrets away? See, look, you just ruined it for yourself.
Well, I know people that can copyright this by the night's end.
There you go.
Too funny. All right, well, I guess we should. I don't want to kick you off, but I mean. we got to save some for next week and the week after and the week after.
Definitely. Oh, I can talk. You got to tell me to shut up. I'm not offended. You know how many times I've heard that in my lifetime?
I'm telling you, everybody's loving it. I'm getting text and instant messages. She's gold. She's gold. Keep her. Keep her.
If I can only find somebody to keep me.
There you go. We're going to get you
up with this.
We're going to introduce you and Frank. We're going to get you guys together. There you go.
Oh,
go
right.
eat raviolis and meatballs. Just save me
some.
some.
Yeah, there you go. Sounds good.
Krissi, I want to thank you so much for calling in. You are definitely a totally driven person, and you're a character, too. You got to admit it.
I am a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. Well, I can't wait till next week. We'll have you on again next week, and we'll talk more food and more Gordon. And let me ask you that real quick. Were you able to tell what kind of cologne Gordon Ramsay was wearing? My wife wants to know.
No, and I got to tell you, I'm going to try to keep it PG, but the lady parts were pulsing. He smelled so good. I don't know what it was. It was intoxicating. It's like when Pepe Le Pew used to walk around, and everybody would die. Except it was the opposite effect. We were all like, ooh, Gordon. He had every lady in there oh my God, you don't even know. That man oozes sex.
Oh, that is too funny. Hey, do you watch that one show he does, the Kitchen Night? Is it the Kitchen Nightmares with them whack jobs that were on a couple weeks ago out in Arizona?
Oh, I did, and actually, I saw one of the contestants from last season on MasterChef, Monty. She's got a radio show. She interviewed those crazy people, and she caught a lot of heat from people for even having them on her radio. They were giving her death threats, telling her she's a good mother, her son should be. Oh yeah, she wrote a big thing. You might on her MasterChef page. She wrote a big thing about how she just wanted to ask them the questions that everybody wanted to know. But I'll tell you what, I don't blame Gordon for leaving because those people were just absolutely. I mean, they were goofy. I never saw anything like it in my life.
Yeah,
they just basically wanted him to say, "Hey, their food is good. Come and eat here."
Yeah. How delusional were they?
He told him, "I can't do that. You got to make the food actually. Because you can't say that you're selling fresh raviolis when you're buying them." And the fact that she argued, well, everybody does that.
That guy has got to be so rich and that lady must have a golden vagina because there's no way anybody could put up with her. I'm telling you, or that restaurant to be closed because there's no way they could keep it afloat without money. And she's got to have she's got to do something good because I don't know anybody that would be with her.
Well, he was scared of her. He said it. He was scared of her. I would be too.
God.
She's nuts. Well, as a matter of fact, one of our guys that does it,
that's an insult to people who are nuts. She's a lunatic.
We have a guy that calls in towards the end of the show, Nick. He does a TV segment for us each week, and he lives out in Arizona. And we got him to go out there. He tried to go out there and have them come on the show, but that wasn't happening. They wouldn't go for that. But he said they are absolutely every bit of 100% of batshit crazy. He said they're nuts.
Yeah, I believe it. You can't create that kind of crazy. That was not staged. That was not that was 100% lunacy.
And the one thing, and Krissi, you have children. When she referred to her kids as cats.
Oh my God! And she said that she spoke feline. Oh my God! My son and I were literally pissing ourselves laughing. We were hysterical because we would always make fun of the creepy cat ladies. No offense to the creepy cat ladies out there, but you guys are weird. But anyway, I'm just saying, you speak feline. Come on, lady, you're on national TV. Do you have any idea how insane you sound? There's just no boundaries with that woman. None.
Yeah, she was a total piece of work. I literally just sat there staring at my TV with my mouth open. I couldn't comprehend everything that was going on. I just couldn't believe my eyes.
Yeah, I mean that's how I was. Like literally, like head cocked to the side and like just looking like, what? This is real life. This is happening right now. Unbelievable.
Too funny. Well, all right.
And I really give it to Gordon for keeping us cool too.
Yeah, right. He did that over days. We only saw an hour.
Yeah.
He did it for a couple of days.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Wow. Well, Krissi, this has been friggin' awesome. We've had a blast.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you. And yeah, we'll hook it up next week, and we'll hear some more fun and probably more about a golden vagina and crazy people and good food and South Philly style. Yo.
Absolutely.
Hey, you got to give us
guys.
One time. You got to give us a yo, Adrian.
Oh, absolutely. Yo, Adrian.
There you go. Everybody, that is Krissi. Say the last name again for me, please.
Biasiello.
Biasiello. I don't want to mispronounce it wrong. You might smack me or something. Krissi Biasiello from Fox's MasterChef. She is our winner. She is going to win this. We have our fingers crossed. All right?
I got everything crossed.
All right, Krissi, we'll talk to you next week. Thank you again so much.
All right, sweetheart.
See ya.
See ya.
Wow. Frank, she is friggin' awesome, ain't she?
That was one of the best guests I think we've ever had. I got a real props. Hey, and props to Blog Talk Radio for not cutting us out.
How about that? See, this is where now, like, we need. This is where I've said to you, we need to expand to 3 hours, because when you got a guest like that, I mean, you got to go with it. You can't. I feel bad cutting off good radio. She is just pure entertainment.
Next week, man, it's a reason to tune back in. You guys want to hear more from Krissi, and call in. You know, we'll open up the lines next week. You got some cooking questions. You got some South Philly questions. That's our girl, man. She's officially TDR, man. She's part of the family now.
There you go.
Is that good or bad?
That's good, because you know you got to look at it this way. If anybody messes with us, I'm sending her. She'll smack somebody around for us, Frank. And then she'll
cook what?
too. We'll get ravioli meatballs, and she will have our back. What more could you ask for?
You know what? You know how we got our whole Totally Driven family always shooting us messages? Our announcer, John, just hit me with a good one, and I don't know if you heard it or read it. He said we should get her to do a promo for Totally Driven Radio.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes,
we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. That would be too funny.
Oh.
All right. Well, how about this? We